Now convene the September 5th meeting of the Centreville Town Council. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance. Thank you. All right, first up on the agenda is review of the agenda to see if we need to make any additions or changes. Do we have any?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the August 1st.
We're not on the minutes yet. We're on agenda. review.
I'm sorry. You said the.
It's all right. I know you're ready to go. You're ready to go. You
Okay.
do have a change to the agenda though, correct?
Yeah, so, I would like to remove ordinance 06-2024 from the consent agenda.
Okay,
There's some discussion that needs to take place.
so we'll move that down to old business.
Okay.
Okay, any other changes to the agenda? Okay, now we will review the minutes from the past meeting. We're on the minutes now.
I was
if
giving
anyone wants
everybody a full few seconds to shift gears. Okay. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the August 1st, 2024 meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have a closed session statement. The town council met in closed session on Thursday, September 5th, 2024 at 6:32 p.m. to discuss personnel in accordance with the Maryland Open Meetings Act. 5 members of the town council voted to close the session. The authority to close the session is found in section 3-305 of the general provisions article. The town council discussed the following topic: personnel. There were no actions taken. The following members and staff were present: Ashley H. Kaiser, President; Eric B. Johnson, Jr., Vice President; Daniel B. Worth, Jim A. Beecham, and Jeffrey D. Keel, members; Karen Luffman, Finance Officer; Clifford Kip Matthews, Director of Public Works; Sharon Van Emberg, Town Attorney; Carolyn Brinkley, Town Manager; and Gay Adams, Town Clerk. The meeting adjourned at 6:43 p.m. Okay. Next up, we have a citizens forum. Citizens are requested to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Are there any citizens that wish to address the council? Anyone? All right. Next up, we have an appearance by our finance officer, Karen Luffman. If you want to come on up.
So I just wanted to give 2 quick updates on our systems. The first one would be the Neptune customer portal I brought to you guys when we were talking about the ARPA funds. So just excited to kind of introduce that we have it up and running. This system will allow our customers to monitor consumption on demand, get charts and graphs about their water usage. So with this portal, you'll be able to view and manage your usage at any time, anywhere. You can set alerts to monitor consumptions when you're out of town, so if a leak was to happen, you would be aware of it going on. You can monitor your consumption, get usage alerts to conserve water, and you can even set thresholds to alert you if you're going over like a budget of what you want to use 1,000 gallons a day. If you max out on that, it'll let you know. So we have went on the town website, and where it had normally had said pay online, we've changed it to say pay online water/water usage portal.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's on the bottom right of the site where it used to say. And so basically what we did, we went on there and we put some videos on how you go on there and register for your account and how you use this portal to set all these alerts up. So we embedded the videos on there. We put the actual portal on there so that you can go ahead and register and get set up with the Neptune portal. So any questions, you can call the office and we can assist any way we can help, but I wanted just to try to get it out there as much as possible. I'll work with Carolyn maybe, and I know we put this memo as well on the website that people could read the same thing I'm reading to you guys.
And it's going to go out in the email blast.
Just to try to get as many people the information as possible. This is a really good system, and you can do so much with it, especially for those that go out in the summer or in the winter and go to like Florida and they want to monitor.
Maybe some other broadcast methods we could use, Centreville Spy or the paper or QACTV, little promo.
Yeah. Any questions on the Neptune? All right.
Not till I try it.
Yeah, let me know.
Man,
Like, I
lots.
can't use it as a customer, but man, some of the other customers that we've talked to outside of have had really good things to say about it. So let us know if you have any issues. The second update I wanted to give was on our utility billing software. You know, a year, it's probably been 18 months now, we came to you guys and we're trying to get a more customer-friendly utility billing software that would have graphs and charts and do all sorts of things. And as we've progressed through the transition, it was not able to do many of the things that we needed it to do. So, as much consideration, the staff and department heads and I have met, we've went over the processes, and just to not go too much in, but just to let you know, one of the biggest things was we started using the system in February. In September now, so we're 7 months in, and all the data that was in Muni-billing for revenue was not in our general ledger. They've been working for 7 or 8 months on trying to create a report that would allow us to do that. And so we, as a staff collectively, you know, this affects the audit and the bank recs, and so many things trickle because of that. So as a staff collectively, we got together and decided at this point, the best thing would be to transition back to what we had, put all the data back. We've already done the transition. She did it in 3 or 4 weeks. All my revenue data is there. We're working on bank recs now. The audit we're working through the audit really well. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. I lost my spot, sorry. So in the coming weeks, we will have a new billing link on the website to pay because they also have a portal. So we'll update the link on the portal to where you will pay online. For those of you that bookmarked possibly the site that we currently have, just ensure when the next bill comes out, you go on the site, click the new link. If you want to bookmark at that time, you can do that. Also, AccuFund will have the same sort of feature if you want to do an auto pay or auto withdrawal. You just have to set it up with our office first, not through the portal, and then it will start taking out based on the import date chosen. So
If somebody does have the old site bookmarked, what will happen if they click on it?
it should become a broken link at that point.
Is there a way to put a message page there?
Can we do that on our site?
I don't know because if they have I don't know how that works. If they have a bookmarked, because that's not our end of
It's the Muni-billing
it's the
end. It's
Muni-billings
theirs.
end.
As much grief if they've caused us, maybe they would help with this, and maybe, I say.
Maybe.
Worth asking, I guess.
Yeah, we can absolutely ask. We have, at this point, we didn't want anything to be shut off in the background. We've been working with Sharon. She helped us get a letter to send to them once we're complete with getting the data back. So we should be sending that to them next week. Once that happens, then we can ask if they're, exactly how the link will work if they click it afterward.
Yeah, I just need a dummy page saying go to
And we
this
can certainly
instead.
send come up with something similar to this as an email blast as well if you want, and the same sort of options for the Neptune portal, just to get to the most people possible.
Okay. Anything else?
Thanks, Karen.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, next up, we have several public hearings. This public hearing is for the purpose of public testimony on the following ordinance and resolution. Resolution 14-2024 for the purpose of annexing certain lands of Providence at Centreville LLC into the town of Centreville, consisting of 279.586 acres of land, more or less, provide for the terms and conditions of the annexation. Ordinance 05-2024 for the purpose of amending the town of Centreville zoning ordinance, which is Chapter 170 of the Town Code, to zone land annexed into the town of Centreville. I will now call Sharon Van Emberg, Town Attorney, to provide background on this ordinance and resolution.
So as you mentioned, this is for about 280 acres that's adjacent to the town limits currently. The annexation resolution that's before you, you will note in Section 4, does have tax abatement provisions, and those are slightly modified from the last time you saw it. But there is a red line version to show you how that has changed. The resolution also authorizes an annexation agreement. The agreement was sent to you separately from the packet, so you may need some additional time to review that. It's fairly lengthy. That does not have to be acted on tonight. This would just authorize you to do it in the future, and then at a future meeting, when you're comfortable, you'd be able to act on it then. The ordinance 05-2024 is to apply the traditional neighborhood district zoning to the property. That zoning will require a zoning waiver from the county because it's very different than the current county zoning. So that will be a next step that will have to happen before that can actually be applied to the property. The Planning Commission at their June 26th meeting did consider both of these pieces of legislation, and they have found that the annexation would be consistent with the comp plan, and they recommended adoption of the ordinance or the resolution to annex the property. And they also recommended the TND zoning be applied to the property.
Okay. I will now call Gay Adams, Town Clerk, to present evidence of the published notices of this hearing.
This is to certify that the annex legal advertisement has been published in the publications and insertions listed below. Resolution 14-2024 was published in the Bay Times Record Observer on July 26th, August 2nd, August 9th, and August 16th. And this is also to certify that the annex legal advertisement has been published in the publications and insertions for Ordinance 05-24 in the Bay Times Record Observer on August 16th and August 23rd.
Thank you. All right, we will first hear from the state in Queen Anne's County, and then all those in favor, and then hear from those opposed. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. You are welcome to provide written testimony to the town council as well. Can you please read the public comment guidelines?
Welcome to this meeting of the Centreville Town Council. This is a public meeting, and we welcome your participation. By attending, you acknowledge that this session is recorded and aired live on QACTV 7. If you have the new BreezeLine streaming box, this is now channel 2001. During the meeting, we ask that you turn off your cell phones and hold personal conversations outside the meeting room. The scheduled agenda is available on the information table just outside. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes per person. The town council respects and appreciates your desire and right to convey your message freely, and in keeping with the dignity of proceedings, we ask that all views be expressed in a respectful and civil manner. Comments longer than 3 minutes should be submitted in writing. If questions are part of your comments, we will refer to those to the appropriate individual. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone here from the state of Maryland that would like to speak on this proposed annexation and zoning? Are we reading the MTP comments into the record, or no? We just have them?
Yeah, I think we can just have them.
Okay, great. So they did provide written comments. Is there anyone here from Queen Anne's County government or planning that would like to speak on this proposed annexation and zoning? Okay. We will now hear from all those in favor of proposed Resolution 14-2024 and Ordinance 05-2024. Is there anyone here in support of that? Sure.
Joseph Stevens on behalf of the attorney in Queen Anne's County on behalf of Providence at Centreville LLC. As you know, I've been before you all several times on this already in public forums as well as at the Planning Commission. So I'm going to keep it brief. I was thinking that you all wanted a small presentation from the applicant, but 3 minutes is not going to, even for me, as quick as I am. But
I think we can,
all right,
if you start to get too long, I'm going to say it's been 3 minutes.
Tell me to sit down and shut up, that's all. All right, very quickly, I really just thought for anybody who might be here, because I wasn't sure if we'd have people here interested, that the history of the property, you can see up on the board where it says site under the B, it's to the southern part of the town. That's the Providence Farm, that's the area to be annexed. This is the 1998 joint Queen Anne's County, Town of Centreville plan. So from back to 1998, it's been designated for town planned unit development and annexation. When you read the body of that plan, calls for it to be annexation. That's some 25, 26 years ago. Again, the plan in, this is the next plan, which is the 2009 community plan. It wasn't, I don't think it was a jointly adopted plan with the county, but they were very instrumental in participating in it. You can see the site, again, plan unit development, annexation area. This is not new. This is the 2002 Queen Anne's County Comprehensive Plan. Centreville's way down in the corner there, and I'll just tell you that it's designated for medium-density residential town-scale development. County 2000 and 10 plan, you can see the site up in the middle top, again designated for medium-density residential, town scale. When you read the plans, it calls for it to be annexed. This is one of the maps from the 2022 town plan. Your recently adopted 2040 vision plan calls for the site to be included in the town and for our growth area. Did I get it? There we go. Okay. There's the site again, Tier 2 in terms of the tier designations. Again, that's a tier for growth, town growth, under the state tiered program. There is the site again. It's not in the town-county joint greenbelt. It's within the area to be developed. And then you can see it's not in the critical area. The site is way down at the bottom, so it's not a property that's in the critical area. And there's the annexation area. There's the rezoning. So that's all that I had on that. I don't have to go into a whole lot more detail. A few points that I'd like to make, though, is that the property has been designated for growth for many years, and it's now under a different ownership. As you know, Mr. Schaefer owned it for decades and was opposed to being part of the town, opposed to being annexed. And at this point, you know, it's owned by Mr. Bob Karen, Mr. Frank Timlin, who's here over to my right, and Mr. Karen would be here, and I know he's graced you with his jolliness many times, but he is in Norway, and he has had this trip planned for some 6 months. He didn't want to postpone the annexation hearing because of it, and he didn't want to give up the Norway trip either. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'll talk later about, I think it's separately, you're going to hear that, the ordinance amendments to the TND, so I can address those separately later. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. I will say that the annexation agreement that you have is the same one from May 28th that was submitted to you all on May 28th. A few pagination changes in the signature blocks, and that's all. It has been reviewed by town council, and the town council, meaning the attorney. And, you know, not signing it this evening is fine. That's certainly no issue. There also was some discussion the last time about, or during our informal meetings when we came and talked to you, after you had reviewed like the annexation resolution, about the tax abatement provisions. I talked to some of the council members, and I forwarded a proposed change in that language to the resolution to the town attorney and to the clerk, and I believe that's been circulated to you all. I think that might be something that you'll find more acceptable. What that does is it does not provide for a tax abatement of currently existing taxes on the property for any period of time whatsoever, because it's a fairly low tax structure under agricultural taxes. If that tax structure goes up, it would provide for a town abatement of the increase for a 10-year period, or until sewer goes to the site, or until a developer's rights and responsibilities agreement is entered into with the town and the developer to provide for something else. I don't know what it would be, but that option is there. So I think, at least from my individual conversations with a couple of the members, Mr. Beecham was you know, the one who voiced a concern at the last meeting, or a couple meetings ago. I think this is something that you'll find more agreeable, and so we certainly have no objection if you make that amendment to the resolution, if you're so inclined to act on it. I can talk about next steps if you want, or we can have that conversation another day.
Yeah, let's see who else might be here.
Thank you.
For it. Is there anyone else here in support of the resolution or the ordinance? Yeah, jump on up.
Good evening. My name's Bill Stoops, and I'm a lifelong resident of Centreville, and I worked 43 years at Centreville National Bank, which is now Shore United. So been here a long time. Been involved with a lot of the boards, Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, Housing Authority, Business Association way back when we had Business Association in Centreville, and currently on the election board. But based on my history and being involved in the community, Joe and the property owners here have asked me if I would consult with them and work with them as they go through the annexation and development of this project. Trying to be a liaison through the community and all. I looked at the project first to make sure it was something I could be comfortable with, since I'm a resident here. And I think this makes perfect sense for what's in town here. The annexation approval that they're seeking, this will provide growth within the town. It's consistent with the town's plan from 2040, along with the town and county comprehensive plans that date back decades, essentially. Annexation is not development approval, so at this point in time, they're just looking for annexation, and then when we get into development, the town residents and business owners will be very active in what goes on in that community, so we expect to hear a lot of, conversation going on with that. And growth consistent with the town comprehensive plan is important to local businesses in the downtown Centreville, because the growth provides for these small shops to flourish, keep their employees, paid and expand. They've made an investment in the town, and they would like to see this growth. I've been out and spoke to a number of businesses. Some were going to show up, some will probably write written comments here, but they're all for this type of growth. We're not looking at any commercial in this property, so we're not competing with anything with this development. So at this point in time, the businesses are very supportive of seeing this grow to help them expand their business opportunities. And also, with a community like this, it also provides housing types that we may or may not have in the town already. Affordable housing. We've always, even on the Housing Authority for years, we've always looked for workforce housing, apartments, that type of thing, because people come here, work for a teacher, firefighter, they can't afford a house, and they have to live in another county to work in Queen Anne's County, so it's tough. So if we could have something in Centreville that provide that housing, that would be very important. And I think this group is looking to put that in play, and with different types of housing, single, multifamily housing, apartments, and so forth, that would fit into the development plan. And also, lastly, over the years, because the town hasn't really grown very much in size, maybe we expanded with Northbrook, some with Symphony Village, but we get to a certain size, we'll be able to obtain larger grants and get some more grant funding for things that we right now don't have the demographics to get. So it would be important that if we expand this, to look into that and maybe have your grant writers work into that session there. So other than that, I appreciate the time, and I look forward, and hopefully you support the annexation of the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of the ordinance or resolution? All right, we will now hear from all those opposing proposed resolution 14-2024 and ordinance 5-2024. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition to those? Okay. The Centreville Town Council will consider all comments presented this evening before making a final decision. Do I hear a motion to adjourn this hearing?
Make a motion.
All right, is it- You did? Okay.
Yes, make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the hearing is now adjourned. Okay. All right, next up, we have another public hearing. This is an ordinance of the Town Council of Centreville amending the Town of Centreville zoning ordinance, which is Chapter 170 of the Town Code, as to the traditional neighborhood district zoning district. There's a typo here, so I'm just struggling. I'm sorry. I will now call Sharon Van Emberg, Town Attorney, to provide background on this ordinance.
So the applicant for the annexation also proposed this text amendment to the TND provisions related to residential garages. The TND prohibited them from being front-loaded, and this ordinance will carve out an exception to allow front-loaded in certain circumstances. Originally, what was proposed was if it did not project beyond the front facade. The Planning Commission looked at that, and they looked at the design guidelines, had a setback, and they preferred the setback, so that they proposed some revised language that makes it consistent with what the guidelines say, which is, I think it's a 5-foot setback from the front facade. It has to be set back. So, and they also limited it to which roads it could be on, not the major roads. So that was the Planning Commission's recommended changes, which are incorporated into the ordinance.
Okay. I will now call Gay Adams, Town Clerk, to present evidence of the published notice of this hearing.
This is to certify that the annex legal advertisement has been published in publications and insertions listed below. Ordinance 06/2024 was published in the Bay Times Record Observer on August 16th and August 23rd.
Okay. We will first hear from all those in favor of proposed ordinance 06/2024, and then hear from those opposed. Please keep all comments to 3 minutes. You are welcome to provide written testimony to the town council as well. The clerk will now read the public comment guidelines.
I don't think you have to if you don't.
You don't have to
No,
again?
No,
Cool.
not again.
Remember them from last time.
It's just standard in each one
I'm
of
just
them.
reading what's here. All right, we will now hear from all those in favor of proposed ordinance 06/2024. Come on up.
Thank you, Council. Joseph Stevens again, Joseph, on behalf of Providence at Centreville LLC, the applicant for the previous annexation, rezoning, and the sponsor of some of this text amendment. Actually, this is a joint text amendment because it also clarifies where the TND zone can be placed down. There was some language that was contradictory in the ordinance to the understanding of the comprehensive plan. So that is the first section of the ordinance that you see before you, where it states that in that regard, in regards to where it's located. The second aspect, I will say, bit of history is on this is that, we initially filed, if you remember, in February of this year, and requested an R zoning district. It was R1 with the PUD overlay is what we agreed to apply for in the annexation agreement, always to a PUD. There was some discussion with the town, Stacy, the town planner, that R1 was only 3 units per acre. It didn't meet the density for the priority funding areas, so it might have created problems. So we agreed that, okay, we'll reevaluate doing that, and our next thought was, well, let's come in and do R2 with the PUD overlay. But we had several meetings with the town planner, Mr. Whitehill, Carolyn, and Sharon, and there was a great deal of interest in having this property come in as TND. And so that the TND provisions gave a little bit of pause to the underlying ownership because they can be somewhat rigid at times. So the discussion was, look, the town's going to be doing some amendments. I know they're working on them now, and create almost a little bit of a hybrid PND complete neighborhoods. And obviously the town planner is very versed at all that. And so we said, yeah, okay, we'll come in as TND. That's what the town wants. We want to get annexed. That's what we're coming in as. So, but we did want to make sure that the town understood from the beginning that we'd want to be able to do some front-loaded garages, because they were just outright prohibited in the TND. And so that's why we proposed that provision and amendment. Some type of good faith, and also letting everyone know right from the get-go that that was really important to the underlying development. So we came up with this amendment. We did work with staff on this. And we worked with Planning Commission because they made changes to it. We're perfectly comfortable with the changes they made to it. And so we encourage you to adopt those changes, not what we submitted. But it is a very important aspect of it. And it's very limiting to you. We can't do it on collectors, minor or major collectors. So, if you looked at one of the plans I showed you, there's a big spur road going through the middle of the property as part of the concept planning for the property. We couldn't do it on that. That's either a major or a minor collector. And it's also now subject to the design guidelines, and it's subject to some discretion on the part of the Planning Commission. And the bottom line is they're going to rewrite the provisions of the TND anyway. But this at least lets us know that you all are generally okay with some of the front-loaded garages as we move forward. And that's why it was so important to Mr. Karen, Mr. Timlin here, that we have that recognition. So I ask that you adopt it with the amendments that the Planning Commission recommended, and we're perfectly comfortable with that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of proposed ordinance 06/2024? Okay. We will now hear from all those opposing proposed ordinance 06/2024. Okay. The Centreville Town Council will consider all comments presented this evening before making a final decision regarding proposed ordinance 06/2024. Do I hear a motion to adjourn this hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and now declare this hearing adjourned. Okay. Next up, we had our consent agenda, which now only has one item on it. So if we want to talk about ordinance 05-2024, the zoning map amendment, we can do that now.
I think it might make sense to wait till after you decide the resolution to annex it before you
Okay.
apply the zoning to it.
All right, so we'll just move down. We'll move the whole consent agenda down, and we'll go first to Resolution 14-2024, Providence at Centreville annexation. The proposed amendment is flagged in your packets on the tax abatement issue.
Well, I'll get it started here. I make a motion to approve Resolution 14-2024 to include the amendment that will, let's see, abate the incremental increase in the real estate taxes and town property taxes for the Providence farm property, which are a result of annexation or the rezoning, and it, notwithstanding the preceding paragraph, should the town and petitioner enter into a development rights and responsibilities agreement that further addresses, amends, or modifies the above stated abatement provisions, then the terms, conditions, and agreements contained in the development rights and responsibilities agreement shall govern and control. That takes the place of a paragraph that talked about the 25-year abatement. So,
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Wow, exciting up here. I mean, I obviously support this. I've been pretty clear about that since it came before us. It's totally consistent with our current and several previous plans, and so I'm glad to see this in front of the council.
You're here.
Do any other discussion? All right, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Councilmember Beecham?
Yes.
Council Vice President Johnson?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Worth?
yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Okay. Annexation resolution passes 5-0. Next, we will move to ordinance 05-2024, the zoning map amendment, rezoning map 44F, parcel 60, Providence at Centreville.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 05-2024, amending the zoning map.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Who wants it?
I gave it to Johnson, I gave Keel the last.
Okay. Any discussion?
Spell my name right.
So this applies T and D as it's currently written, and then in a subsequent vote, we'll talk about
Yeah.
them. And thank you.
Yep.
Just making sure.
Lots of steps here on this one. All right, any other discussion? All right, we'll take a roll call vote again. Councilmember Beecham?
Yes.
Council Vice President Johnson?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 05-2024 passes 5-0. All right, next up is the zoning text amendment for the TND, which I know we have.
Yeah, stand by.
It-
Okay. Yeah, where'd
So
that go?
first, for sure, we need to fix the title.
Right.
That is a definite. It currently says Town Neighborhood Traditions, which, hey, maybe it's a zoning classification we should get, but it is not currently one. So we'll need to fix that. And the title, and then,
Yes, I noticed.
buy any time here.
Yeah, the planning commission recommended changes which don't seem to be included in this, the version you have before you. So let me, go
Well,
over
they
that.
sent us a letter, right?
Right, yeah, if you find the letter from the planning commission,
It's under your public hearing, the first public hearing. Should say
And that's,
PC recommendation.
this is largely semantics, right? The,
well,
Dan.
no, it's a little, oh, thank you.
Refers to the design guidelines and making it consistent with that. That's-
right, instead of calling out a design guideline, which is what's currently in here with the facade
Yes.
depth thing.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, they recommended, on the second page, under section 4, paragraph 2, B, 5, basically the end of the ordinance, that it read, an attached front-loaded garage consistent with Centerville's required and encouraged design guidelines for garages where the dwelling is not located on an arterial, major or minor collector road may be permitted by the planning commission. That says, Mr. Stevens indicated that was kind of the intent.
Maybe.
Right.
May be permitted.
And that's what the planning commission recommended, that language, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, this feels like, because the version we had in front of us before just calls out a specific design standard, which my house doesn't meet. And then, this, I mean, that's fine with me, consistent. Does this give an outsized amount of control to the planning commission, or do they currently have this level of detailed control on development? I'm just curious. I mean, I'm not that I have a problem with it.
I'm going to ask Sharon on that. I don't think so.
Well,
We're going to fix that too.
Yeah.
that-
That's
All
probably
right.
going to change too. Certainly, the difference between it being prohibited and giving them some discretion,
Yes.
it gives them a little bit more, but before it
Right.
wouldn't be allowed at all.
Couldn't
so.
do it at all, right? Okay.
So can I ask you a question? Are there potential adverse effects to other tracts that have T&D zoning? And I don't mean to throw a wrench in the works here, don't panic, but we have R1, we have R2, R3, we have C1, C2, C3. What if we have TND2 that allows the front-loaded garages and TND1 that doesn't? Just so other tracts that have TND stay that way, but we can designate a tract as TND2. I'm not trying to throw a wrench in the works, just a thought.
It feels
Yeah.
unnecessarily complicated to me
All right.
with the planning commission maintaining so much discretion here. I feel like this can be a tough hurdle to jump for this front-loaded garage as it's written. Do you have, you're a planning commission liaison, your thoughts?
Card. All right. Okay,
I mean, do you think we should have two different TNDs or?
well, ultimately, we'll probably have more than two. I mean, but.
Okay. Great.
There's going to be several levels of changes that need to occur,
Okay.
as we will discuss later with the moratorium, that all of this needs to be resolved. But I guess the planning commission thought this was, this is what they recommended. We don't have to amend it if,
Okay.
If
could go through the
TND is due for major revisions, I mean, we could adopt this now and then whatever revisions,
Yeah.
we parse all that out later.
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
All right, any further discussion? Okay, we're acting on this one too, right? So we'll take a roll call vote. Councilmember Beecham?
Yes.
Council Vice President Johnson?
Yes.
Yes. Councilmember Worth?
Yes.
Councilmember Keel?
Yes.
Okay, that one also passes 5-0. Yes, with the planning commission amendment. Yeah, that's what I believed it to be. Okay,
One motion, yeah.
great. Next,
Did I actually make a motion?
I thought you did.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so.
All right, we'll go back, we'll do it again. Make a motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 06-2024 with a change in the title that says traditional neighborhood development zoning district, okay, in place of whatever it says now, town neighborhood traditions zoning district, okay. And that the amendment that the planning commissioner recommended be applied.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make it a little easier. Okay, good. Next up, we have ordinance 8-2024, temporary moratorium. This is a second reading, and it is sponsored by Councilmember Worth.
Were we going to go back on one of the consent items, or do we just do that?
We just did that.
Got it.
I know we messed
Yep.
it all up. We
Yep.
tried a consent agenda
I
and
tried, yeah, I tried it.
didn't work out.
It was a nice try. Yeah.
We'll try again.
We'll try
Yeah,
again.
we'll do it. Maybe next week. Okay, next time. All right, I lost the page with the.
You guys, they added tabs to our packets, and it seems to have made things far worse for Councilmember Worth.
2024.
It's got a tab. It's right here.
Ah, thanks. Gotta get this out of the way here.
A lot of paper.
It's a lot of paper this time.
All right. Okay, yeah, as we discussed many times, this is a moratorium to give the planning commission time to fine tune the TND and the other, subdivision, site plan process. They really want to look extensively at the code as a result of the comprehensive plan changes that were introduced. And also it gives the town council and staff time to work to update the capacity management and sewer allocation policy.
Okay, and we still need to have a public hearing on this
It's,
next meeting? Okay.
it's scheduled for the
All
next
right,
meeting.
so that's all we're doing is just reading it again.
That's good.
Okay, cool. Next up, ordinance 09/2024 cannabis provisions. Also Councilmember Worth.
I'd just like to thank the council, staff, Carolyn, Gail, Sharon,
Tell Bob we're
Stacy,
jealous.
and everybody else. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Good evening.
Okay.
These are revisions mainly due to changes in the state cannabis regulations having to do with, well, there's no such thing as just a medical dispensary. It's just a general cannabis dispensary. There are also revisions to the distances from schools, playgrounds, houses. At the same time, we decided to, and the Planning Commission agreed, that we would expand the ability to, for a licensed dispensary to be located in the C2 and C3 districts. And I believe that, and it also outright bans the smoking lounges.
Okay, this public hearing is also next meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Anything else on that one before we move on? Okay. Next up, we have new business. First up is an employment agreement for Department of Public Works, it says.
So this is, we are submitting this similar to what we did with police officers when they are sent through training and all that. So this is a similar agreement if we send one of our Public Works staff to receive a commercial driver's license training. I believe when we first started doing it, it was free, and now we do pay for them to attend those classes. So this would be similar to where they would be, we're asking them to sign a 12-month, so they can't leave us for 12 months after they
Okay.
finish their training. So, and this has, Sharon's looked at this, yeah.
Similar to what we do with the police department on a smaller scale.
Yeah, yeah,
And you need us to approve this?
yes.
Move to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up, we have a notice about the October 7th, 2024 town election, and I'm just going to read this into the record, right? Okay. Due to the adoption of a charter amendment, Resolution 12, 2014, Chapter 419, effective on October 14, 2014, in which the Town of Centreville Board of Supervisors of Elections may cancel an election if it is uncontested. At the August 14th, 2024 meeting, the Board of Supervisors of Elections unanimously voted to approve Ms. Sandra Lee Huffer's certificate of nomination based on verification from the Centreville Ethics Commission, who found no errors or omissions in her financial disclosure form. The Board of Supervisors of Elections also certified that Ms. Huffer met all requirements for the office of Town Council Member. As a result of the uncontested election, and according to Section 419 of the Town Charter, the October 7th, 2024 election is canceled. And we will have our reorganization meeting on October 17th.
Correct.
Okay. Next up, we have a presentation from the Council Vice President related to the 2024 Halloween Festival that he and some others are planning.
Yes, and I'm asking the committee folks that are here with me tonight if you guys want to come up and sit at the table. Thanks, Gay.
And you need to point it over there.
That way. First, I want to introduce a couple members of the committee. We have Sarah Stallings here from the Delmarva Pride Center, Dave Sipes from the Festivities and Beautification team, and my wonderful bride, James, also from the Festivities and Beautification team. A couple historical items worth mentioning. So last year was the first year that we tried doing this. It was very well attended, far better than I would have expected, to be blunt. We took a chance on having both Centreville Day and the festival later in the day, the evening, and there were no issues. I checked with our Main Street program manager, Carol DiAgostino, to see if she had heard any negative feedback about folks feeling like they could only attend one event over the other, that sort of thing, and we just really didn't see that level of feedback. So her suggestion was, before presenting tonight, to just check with the chief of police to see if he had any concerns. So I did that. He doesn't have any concerns with the plan as is proposed here tonight. So what we wanted to do was just kind of talk a little bit about what is proposed. So the first slide that you'll see, I think I'm doing it right. That's what I'm doing.
Maybe too far.
There we go. Ooh.
Now what have you done?
What did I do? While we're getting that straight,
We need the previous slide, I think.
yeah, do you mind going back one? Thank you. And I'll like the,
Oh.
this is part of the Halloween effect. The dancing screen. So last year we were able to show Hocus Pocus Part 1. Now there's a Part 2. So the plan is to show Hocus Pocus 2 behind the courthouse. Last year we did a a costume contest, and we had 4 categories last year: 11 and under, 12 to 17, 18 plus, and a pet contest. And it was very clear that the pets that participated last year were not necessarily willing participants. So the committee has recommended that we be a little bit more sensitive to our animals, and so we're not going to put them through that this year. We plan to repeat what was a really fun spooky scavenger hunt, 2 categories, 11 and under, that was pretty tame, and then a super scary one for the 12 to 17 age group. We had some volunteers from the Legion Post-18 Auxiliary that were our dancing witches of Centreville, modeled after the German tradition of dancing witches. Very well received. Live music by local artists, DJ and MC by Charles Thomas. And Sarah, do you want to just add who we just also confirmed?
Miss Dana Denise, she is a local from Centreville. I know she does. She performed at the beer fest.
Drink Maryland.
And she also, I think she performs at Mamma Mia's and possibly Doc's, but she is a local girl who went to Queen Anne's County High School, and she is more than willing to.
Awesome.
And so that's kind of a newer feature. Last year we did have a DJ and an MC, but we thought it would be nice to have a little bit of live music mixed in. We plan on having food, artisan, crafts, sales, info, vendor booths. So one of the things that Carol had suggested from Main Street again, for folks wondering who I'm talking about, was that we sort of better coordinate this year on vendors. So all of the vendors that will be approached for Centreville Day will be given a courtesy invite if they would like to stick around for the evening event to do so. It's a lot to ask, so we're not, pushing anybody to do that, but we certainly want to give them the opportunity. Mr. Sipes' wonderful wife will again be doing face painting. She's our designee and does such a wonderful job. We'll again do the free arcade games and other activities. And what you'll see here is a lot of these things are also incorporated in the Centreville Day. So having it on the same day is helpful for some of us as organizers because we don't have to move stuff back and forth twice. We'll do a costume parade around the block, something we didn't do last year, and then based on projected attendance being even greater than last year, having a first aid tent, dedicated ambulance, so we're working with Goodwill to achieve that. Any questions on the event components and anything else that you all want to mention that maybe I forgot? Anything?
What day is it again?
Oh, that would have helped, wouldn't it?
I just can't remember Saturday
Saturday,
off the top of my head.
October 26th. And on that note, the rain date that we're recommending for that event is Sunday, the next day. So the event we're proposing would be 6 to 9 p.m. And Sunday, because of it being a school night, it would shift ahead by an hour and be 5 to 8 p.m. That could have been on the slide. I apologize for not including
No,
that.
you're all right.
I do think, and Carolyn, you may know this better than I, that for Centreville Day, the rain date is the following weekend. Does that sound right?
It sounds right, but I'm not
think.
positive on that. I
So
think
don't
so.
quote me on it, but, so that is just a differentiation there and why we're hoping that
Yeah.
we don't have to exercise the rain date. So the requests, if you don't mind going forward one.
You don't want to try again?
I'm not even good. So 2 requests. Right now, Centreville Day, as you all recall, we have Lawyers Row and Broadway closed. What we did last year was we just went ahead and kept them closed through the duration of the festival. The festival will end at 10 p.m., and so giving folks about an hour to get everything cleaned up and then safely reopen by 11 p.m. We're going to wait and see what kind of vendor footprint we have. If we can keep just one of those streets closed, that's the objective, but we just kind of want to have the permission from council to have both streets closed just in case. And then I did check with Kip from Public Works about the extendable lights. There was a concern last year that we didn't have enough lighting, that it was sort of unsafe at the corner of Broadway and Liberty Street. So I think if we have both lights, that'll help. So those are the 2 requests for council. If you have any questions, something we're real excited about this year.
Right. I think we need a motion for the street closure. The lights, to me, that's between you and Kip, but
How does the fire company work if Broadway is closed?
it's closed for other events, and it'll be closed all day for Centerville Day, so I guess it's only closed at the square, so it's past the fire company.
Right, but if they want to go north, I'm sure they've figured this out, I was just curious.
Yes.
Yes, Water
Can
Street.
do whatever they
Yeah, we can
want.
go down Water Street. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Good question, though.
I wonder if we want to block off half of Broadway, leave a lane for emergency vehicles.
From my point, I wouldn't, I'd just close the whole thing. We can go down Water Street. It's simple enough as, like the day, or a day before the event, or a week before the event, just let the fire department know that you're gonna close it, and they'll be fine with it.
Feels
It's
more
because you
dangerous
have
to me to
kids and stuff around, so I'd rather not have emergency vehicle go down one lane, just in case. Just my thoughts.
You're good with it, I'm good with it.
And the chief's working on getting a crew to volunteer to have a truck sitting out there. You know, the days of fire truck rides that I remember as a kid so fondly are of course gone due to liability, but
Yeah.
at least kids can climb on a stationary truck. So that'll be positioned at one end of the street or the other. So if they get a real world call, they can of course peel out safely.
All right. Do you want to make a motion on the road closure?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we allow both Lawyers Row and Broadway to be closed following Centreville Day, which ends at 3 p.m. We'll go ahead and keep it closed through the duration of the festival proposed time on Saturday, which would end at 10 p.m. and therefore be reopened no later than 11 p.m. with the option to close only one street if we can work it out that way.
Do a second?
Second.
All those in favor? You
Well,
discuss?
yeah, what about the rain date? Should we
Yes, so
Oh, yeah.
they'll let me
Sure.
amend my
amend it? Yes, please.
original motion, forgive me, that this would include a rain date of Sunday, October 27th, which would run from 5 to 8 p.m., and the roads be reopened by 9 p.m.
Okay. You good with that amendment?
Second, yeah, I'll second
Okay.
that one too.
Yes, that's,
Any further discussion? Lots of activities there. All those in favor?
aye.
All right.
Thank you.
And unless someone objects, I think as long as Public Works does not feel overextended by bringing the lights out, then we don't need to act. It's an operational decision. Okay, cool.
Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all. All right. Next up, we have Resolution 18, 2024, a classification plan amendment, and I think, Town Manager, are you gonna?
Yeah,
want
this
me
is to add a position we used to have back into our, back into the classification plan. So we used to have an operations manager position, and this is to put that back into the, yep.
Because this is a resolution, we can act on it now. All right, do we have a motion related to this?
Make a motion to add,
To approve
Just read
resolution?
Read that.
Is
yeah,
it, okay,
to,
says it,
to amend the town resolution,
A motion to amend the
a
town's classification.
resolution to amend the town's classification plan to add the operations manager position back in.
All right, we got there. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
well, yes, there is. I'm
Put me on
sorry to
No,
say.
go for
Okay,
it.
well, I noticed in the matrix, and I assume this matrix is approved as well, that if you look under the certifications for utility supervisor, they have wastewater collection certificate, water distribution certificate. Public Works Director has a license by the Maryland Board of Waterworks and Waste System Operators, but the operations manager has neither. It would seem like they should have some kind of license for that.
Yeah, he does have an operations, and yeah, we can add that into the plan.
The plan to
Yeah.
the
Okay.
matrix? Okay,
Yes.
yeah, just for future.
I guess the block
people.
wasn't big enough or something there, so, yeah,
Right, any further discussion?
right.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, now we have reports of boards and commissions, Maryland Municipal League.
The only thing to say is that several years ago, MML raised an issue with the legislature to reinstate highway user revenues. This week, the state has announced severe budget cuts to the Department of Transportation, but highway user revenues will not be impacted by the budget cuts.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all I've got.
I'll just add one Maryland Municipal League related thing. They reached out to Carolyn and I today about how we administer our elections because of potential changes in the county's ability to help municipalities administer elections. And so thankfully we didn't switch over to the county like we considered a couple years ago. It's too expensive. But it was helpful to know, MML is working for us real time.
Right.
All right, Council of Governments.
Meeting next week,
And where?
Wednesday, and I don't know where.
Queenstown is hosting. Queenstown.
Queenstown.
Okay.
I haven't received any information.
I know, I haven't gone out yet. Should be probably next day.
Economic Development's not supposed to be on here until we figure out what we're doing with CETA. But I know that's something we're all thinking about and considering what to do. Park Advisory Board did not meet this week. They are meeting next week. The Fishing Derby, greatest day of the year. The Fishing Derby is coming up Saturday, September 14th at 4 p.m., right? 4 p.m. And then after the Fishing Derby is the Town Outdoor Movie, which is in Conto. And yeah, it should be really fun. I'm excited to watch my kid catch absolutely zero fish again.
You might get lucky this year. You might
You
get
never
lucky.
know.
You
You
might get
never know.
lucky.
You have to be willing to kind of stand there with a rod in the water. That's where the barrier. But that should be great. Also, at the next Parks Board meeting, there will be the tree board.
Tree board.
Will also meet, which is the Parks Board sits again as the tree board. So there we go. Unfortunately, I will not be at the Parks Board meeting next week as I am coaching 3-year-old soccer.
Good luck.
All right. We all make choices. Planning Commission.
Well, the Planning Commission never rests. They had a regular meeting last month, where they supported a request for a variance to reconfigure parking on 110 Watson Road, which is located in a critical area. It's a rather complicated scheme, but that has to go to Board of Zoning Appeals. So Planning Commission supported that. They approved a concept site plan for a small shopping center in the business park. They would like to have it connected to the Food Line Shopping Center parking so that people don't have to go out on 213 to get there, or in some of the other places over that way, like Dunkin' Donuts and whatever. And there's some other concerns, the height of the signs, where the trash corrals are located, et cetera. But what is planned is a Dairy Queen. These are all potential residents, not residents, whatever. Okay, tenants, right? Users, whatever. Okay, a Verizon store, Advanced Auto Parts, and possibly a diner and some medical offices. So that's kind of what they have in mind.
That's what we were missing, an auto parts store.
Yeah, yes. Well, we got enough place. They got to keep up with the liquor stores. So.
Yeah.
Okay. They also made a favorable recommendation on the two ordinances that were second reading tonight. Okay. That's the regular meeting. They also had a work session last night. They intend to introduce some modifications to the site plan code to give them a little bit more authority over what they can look at for site plans. They generally kind of do these things, but it's not really written in there. What they would like to do and what town councils have done in the past is allow them to create the ordinance, and then we would do
This is for the level of control they have over site plan?
Well, yes. You can see what they got in mind, but it's not like they're if we don't like it, we can amend it, send it back to them.
Can we though? Because with Taco Bell, they let a lot of the design standards go, and that never came in front of us.
This is a text amendment to the zoning code to,
I know, but like in reality, like when something goes before them and they make decisions to stray from the design standards, that doesn't come before us to say never mind.
Yeah, what, did we ever approve the design? Well, I always
No, we
wondered.
don't. They, like with Taco Bell, they
Yeah,
just said you can
no,
do that.
like the design standards, if they can change those if they see
you
fit.
can't change, the design standards would require an ordinance. You're saying
Yes.
not applying them to a project.
Right, when they
versus
decided that
changing
Taco Bell
standards.
didn't have to do some of the things in the design standards, that doesn't come before us to say no way.
Right.
And this gives them more control than that?
So what this does really is
mean,
it
we'll look at it,
adds
but-
standards to when they evaluate a site plan, to give them the ability to require changes by a developer as opposed to not, they don't have any teeth to what they have in there now. So there's no, they're
So right
not-
now, they can do what I'm saying, which is let a property out of standards, but they don't have any teeth to force a property to do what they want them to do?
They're not supposed to let them out of standards either, but.
Okay. Well,
but
Taco
this
Bell
is-
looks how it looks, I guess.
This is just to give, it's things like making sure a project's consistent with the comp plan, it's
Yeah.
stuff like that they're looking at anyway, but it doesn't say it anywhere.
Okay,
And so
Right.
this is just to give them the ability to hold the developer's feet to the fire to make sure they meet these criteria when they get approval.
okay.
Has my support.
Yeah, including looking at traffic problems, health and safety of people, just general things that they do look at, but they're not really specified in there.
Okay.
The things they can look at.
And so they're going to craft an ordinance and then,
Yeah, they'll draft an ordinance, send it to us so we don't have to, the way we do it now is like, I bring it before you, we got to send it to them, they look at it, they come back here.
No.
But they're going to be making a lot of changes. It would be more expedient for them to just create the ordinance, and then we would just do first reading
okay.
and continue the process from there. Okay, so, what else? There's more, yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay, there was a presentation by our town planner on the transects of human habitats. Various smart codes were developed from this. What it does, it divides zoning districts into urban center, general urban, and maybe applies different standards to those different areas. Okay. They talked about Katrina cottages as a follow-up to the work session that I missed last month about tiny homes. I got to bring this up because they said a traffic study is recommended in the comp plan, and then they would like to see it included in next year's budget. So we should try to do that. There's also, this one's going to be, certainly have more explanation because it's got to come before us. But the comp plan, future land use map has an error in it that was continued from the previous comp plan, in that the property that's on the opposite side of Mill Stream from Hillside is currently zoned C2, and that's what the zoning map says, but the comprehensive plan says it's open space, okay? And that error propagated in the comp plan from two editions, so there's still some debate. This was late at night. There's still some debate on the planning commission whether they really want to change that or not, because some people do like to have open space along Mill Stream. So we'll see what they come up with at their regular meeting, because they couldn't really do a vote at a work session. So
Okay.
I think that's enough. Okay. Yes. Oh,
There
they
might
meet
be more,
again.
but we don't get to know about it.
And of course, they meet again September 18th.
Okay, great. All right, reports of department heads, town manager.
So we have, on Sunday, September 22nd, there will be staff that will be attending, few of us, attending Corsica River Day, which used to be called Watershed Awareness Day, which will be at Conquest Beach. So we will be down there talking about the wastewater treatment plant, scooping the poop, and I don't remember what the other ones were. And then, staff and our town consultants have been working on multiple projects that are coming through town right now. October 17th is the reorganization meeting, and then on October 15th, staff will be doing an orientation with Miss Huffer to prepare her for her new seat.
Nothing can prepare.
What's that?
I said nothing can prepare.
Nothing can prepare.
Yeah, she has no idea.
No matter how big that manual is. And then I did want to ask the council, I did receive a phone call from the owner of Uno Mas asking for at least two spots on Pennsylvania Avenue as pickup spots, similar to what we have on Commerce Street across from, for Coliseum and the Alibi and the other restaurants there. So I told him that I would need to check with the council on that, and
He and I talked, just because I happened to be in there last week, and he really wants, well, I have so many questions about this. I know he said he would appear before the council too, but he wants carry-out spots like we have near the restaurants in this area, which to me makes a ton of sense, and also wants spots striped, added in front of, like where his patio seating is. I thought the street got more narrow there, but it doesn't. It doesn't get more narrow until after Mamma
I did talk
Mia.
to Kip about this, and I think it's close to the intersection there, and I did talk to Billy too, is the sight distance coming out of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little more tricky.
And then
Right.
the question I have is, all the spots on Pennsylvania against the building, they're not time limited at all? Because it feels like time limiting those might solve the challenge that he's having and that others might be having, the vet, maybe others over there, more than adding parking out front would be to make those 2-hour spots, just like all the spots down here, so that there's turnover.
Absolutely agree.
So I would be in favor of time limiting those spots like almost every other street spot in the business areas. And then I'm also fine with adding carry-out spots for him, but he did say he was willing to come to a meeting and ask for it himself.
Okay. I wasn't sure when and I didn't want to delay it any longer to let him know, so I just thought
How many spots do we have here for carry-out?
2, I believe it's 2.
2?
Yeah.
That's for
3.
multiple, that's for
3.
multiple.
Oh, 4.
restaurants.
4. We have 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for multiple restaurants, so I don't know if 1 or 2 would be
So there's the
sufficient.
4 restaurant carry-out spots, and then there's several 15-minute spots around down here. So to me, 2 over there, and it could be more than just, I mean, he wants them to be restaurant carry-out spots, which is fine with me, but.
It's fine, yeah.
Do we have consensus on that? And I know, I think staff was recommending across the street,
Yeah, by
By the vet.
By the vet.
Oh, okay.
because it's handicap parking on the other, like currently on the other side. And then if we could look at time limiting, I think that might just make sense. Okay,
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have.
that's all you have? Okay. The chief couldn't be here tonight, and we'll go over his report at the next meeting. Any other department, town clerk, do you have anything?
I do. So the Christmas parade, we met on Monday, can you believe it already? August 26th, to come up with a theme for the Christmas parade, and it's going to be a winter wonderland is the theme, and that parade is December 6th at 6:30. We've had a couple applications for board and commissions, one for supervisor of elections, and then two interested in CETA. One person is a current council member on another board, so she needs to put that out. Character count coaches, myself and Carolyn are coaches.
Yay.
We didn't get Centreville, but we're in Graysonville, so we start our training and we have pre-K.
Oh, that's fun.
That's why I agreed.
Fun.
So we each have a different class, but it's at the same elementary school. So we'll do it together.
Yeah, Centerville was full, so,
That's awesome.
yeah. I thought that would be.
Come when you do civics if you want in November.
Okay, yes.
So, the Concours de Elegance, did I say that right? That's that fancy cars, they're coming back through, on September 28th, and asked for Lawyers Row to be closed again, and the chief said that would be fine, since it's like
Well,
such a
yeah,
small amount of
he
time.
was saying that, because he was going to talk about it tonight when he came with the council, because he said when they did it the last time, it was like 20 minutes that they were,
And did we close the road or did we just block the parking?
You
we,
just block the parking.
yeah.
They prefer we close the road.
I think they prefer, these are supposed to be a little more
I know nothing
fancy,
about cars.
yeah, than what the last set was, so I think they're asking, and, yeah, the chief was going to talk tonight, because he said the last time it was like 20 minutes, so, you know,
Do we want to just go ahead and make a motion to close the road, or do you want,
that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I'll make that motion.
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
So for whatever the time period.
Yeah.
It's a very
I
loose
think
motion, on
it's
whatever
on the-
day, at whatever
All the way,
time, the
yeah.
fancy cars are coming, close the road.
I think it's like, yeah.
Have them
10,
work it
10:30 or
out with
something
the
like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other reports of department heads?
Kippy, do you have anything? No.
Just hanging out for fun. Okay. We will now go into our final citizens forum of the evening. Citizens are requested to keep their comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any citizens? Steve, you here to hang out? Okay. All right, council roundtable. Councilmember Keel.
I have nothing.
Councilmember Beecham.
Nothing.
Councilmember Worth.
Oh, that's enough for tonight.
Councilmember Johnson.
One brief but important item, and that is I want to thank our council president on behalf of the veterans of our town for being the one person out of at least an army of 20 people that tried to get an answer out of Delmarva Power and
yes.
to be able to do our Hometown Heroes banner. So thank you very much.
You're
for
welcome.
being
It was-
successful in that.
I was glad for that win. All right, I just have a couple of things, but I'll be quick because this has been a lot tonight. First, last year we received a request to start calling the Christmas parade a holiday parade. I do not want to get beat up in the parking lot. I don't have strong feelings about this either way, personally. The person who requested it tried to say it was a constitutional issue. It's not, but I do think we should maybe consider being inclusive. But again, I'm not gonna. This is not gonna lose my life over the parade. People have asked. And then the other thing is the bag ban, everyone's favorite topic, the bag ban. I met with Carol from Main Street and with Carolyn to talk about potential for enforcement, the challenges that have been heard from businesses, what sort of out there. I've personally experienced a lot of businesses just simply not implementing the bag fee. So wanted to see what the concerns we've heard from businesses are. There's a desire to make some changes to the ordinance. I'll be honest that for me, I'm disinclined to change something that nobody's tried to comply with yet. Well, not nobody, but that a lot of people haven't tried to comply with yet. So let's try it before we change it, is my opinion. I met with Plastic Free QAC today. They have a bunch of new survey data that they want to present to us at some point, and it is overwhelmingly positive for the bag ban, which you wouldn't believe if you just read Residents of Centreville. So I do think it's some interesting data. And then the other thing that I had suggested to Carolyn and Carol, they want to do another run of the bags, the reusable bags to give away. And I suggested with our new Business of Character designation and our partnership with Character Counts that we should ask Character Counts to help us run a contest in the Centreville schools for kids to design the new Shop Centreville bag, and then have town staff narrow it down to a few, and then we send it out in the email blast and get the town to vote so that there can be just one small positive feel-good thing about the bag ban. So I think we're working towards that, and just people tend to be less angry when kids are involved, so that's my hope there. But that's all I have other than First Friday is tomorrow. 6 to 8 p.m. in the town square, live music, games, food vendors, other vendors, a lot of fun, hopefully excellent weather. But yeah, that's all I have. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Okay.
All right, we're adjourned.
Have anything to sign?